Big name transfer alert in Catalonia. But who is this new signing, and why do Barca even need him? Bayern are ready to drop 60 million euros on a player every club in Europe wanted. Chiesa packing his bags for Spain, and guess what? There's a queue of top clubs lining up for Jack Grealish. Oh, and yep, Stegen is now Manchester United's top goalkeeper target this summer. But first, time for my daily begging session. I need 600 likes, people. I know, I'm like that friend who always asks for money. Except I want likes. And no, I'm not giving them back. Alright, enough stalling. Let's dive straight into the juiciest transfer drama of the day. Now here's one for you. Would you believe it if I told you Barcelona are counting on a 36-year-old veteran to reboot their attack? Why Perisic, and not some fresh superstar? Well, Hansi Flick has his reasons. According to Mundo Deportivo, Ivan Perisic is on the verge of joining Barca as a free agent. And since we're talking about brilliant deals that cost absolutely nothing, so is hitting that subscribe button. Unlike Barca, I don't need to pass financial fair play to make it happen, so go ahead and smash it. Back to business. Barca reached out to Perisic right after his monster season at PSV. 16 goals, 11 assists, numbers worthy of a top-tier forward. And get this, the ever-reliable Santi Auna says it's Flick himself who's pushing for the deal. He's already pitched the project to Ivan. Wages? Not a problem. Perisic wants ambition over cash. And honestly, Barca desperately need an experienced all-rounder right now. The squad's gotten younger, sure, but who's the voice in the dressing room? Remember Müller at Bayern? Flick always had a general on the pitch. He wants the same here. Perisic isn't just a scorer, he's a mentor, and with all the youngsters flooding Barca's squad, that could be priceless. And the versatility? Huge bonus. Left wing, right wing, central striker. He covers it all. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if this move ends up outperforming some of the big money transfers. He brings grit, competition, leadership. A trusted warrior for Flick. Yeah, there's a risk. Age, injuries, the usual. But in Barca's current situation, it's not a gamble. It's a clever move. Let's see how much gas Perisic still has left in the tank. Jack Grealish is packing his bags. And no, this isn't just another silly rumor. Everton and Newcastle are seriously going after the Man City star. A star that, let's be honest, Pep has already crossed off his list. I mean, the guy didn't even make the squad for the Club World Cup. For a £100 million player, that's not a snub, that's a verdict. Let's look at the facts. Last season, just 16 starts, 3 goals, 5 assists, come on. That's pocket change for a player with that kind of price tag. And sure, his contract runs until 2027, but inside the club, they're already viewing him more like dead weight than a key man. A loan move? Easily the most realistic outcome right now. And yeah, with City covering part of his wages, that's how far it's gone. So who's in? Everton, a club living life on the edge, dodging relegation year after year. Moyes sees Grealish as a potential lifeline, that dribbling, that movement, stuff his current midfield just doesn't have. Newcastle, on the other hand, are building for the Champions League. They're not signing Jack to carry the team, they want him as a rotation winger. Someone with experience, someone who won't freak out under pressure. And hey, European football plus a shot at the England squad for the 2026 World Cup. That's a tempting pitch. But here's the catch. His wages. Grealish is still being paid like he's in his Ballon d'Or era. Neither Newcastle nor Everton want to foot that full bill. But if City agreed to split the tab, this move could absolutely happen. So now I'm throwing it to you. Who needs Jack more right now? Ambitious Newcastle or Everton fighting for survival? Thomas Frank is the new manager of Tottenham Hotspur. Yep, that Thomas Frank, the Danish coach who spent nearly a decade building Brentford from a championship underdog into a solid Premier League side. And now, he's taking over Spurs, and let's be honest, this feels like a serious gamble. Because do you know who he's replacing? Ange Postecoglou, the guy who literally just brought Tottenham their first trophy in 17 years, beating Manchester United in the Europa League final, and for that, he got sacked. Yeah, totally makes sense, right? So now it's Frank's turn, a manager with 0 trophies, but a big rep for turning unknowns into internationals. To be fair, he did impressive stuff at Brentford. Smart football, flexible tactics, giant killing performances. But this is another planet. Champions League, matches against PSG, and a squad that, fun fact, finished below Brentford last season. Oh, the irony. Contract until 2028. Club statement full of buzzwords like innovative leadership. You know the drill. But here's my question. If Mourinho and Conte couldn't win a trophy at Spurs, what exactly is Thomas Frank supposed to do? Hold an exorcism? Break the curse? Either way, his debut's gonna be loud. UEFA Super Cup versus PSG. No warm-up, no grace period. So, Thomas, ready to jump straight into the fire? Let's see what you've got. Jadon Sancho is back on the market. Again. Like one of those free trial apps, Chelsea downloaded him, tested him out, and then hit uninstall. Didn't even bother completing the £25 million deal. Just paid a £5 million penalty and sent him right back to Manchester United. Like, thanks, but we'll pass before he crashes the system. And now, it's the same old story. £300,000 a week. Match sharpness? Somewhere between the kitman and the club photographer. And Ruben Amorim doesn't even consider him part of United's preseason squad, which, let's be honest, says it all. You'd think it can't get worse. But wait, there's more. 3 clubs are reportedly interested: Tottenham, Aston Villa and Newcastle. Brave or just desperate? Villa, as always, are trying to play it smart. Loan first, see if he doesn't fall apart. Meanwhile, United want a clean break. No more returns, no more refunds, just sell him and move on. And Dortmund? Yeah, they've left the chat. That's the same club where Sancho was a star, lighting it up, carrying games. But even they've realized sequels are rarely better, and nostalgia is a terrible advisor in the transfer market. So United now face a classic dilemma. Do they loan him out again and kick the problem down the road? Or sell him at a loss and just admit this whole saga was a bust? And Sancho, he's become the symbol of that era where United spent big and got burned. A luxury asset no one knows what to do with. So here's the big question. Who's gonna take the risk? And more importantly, is there any club left where Sancho can actually reboot his career? Let me know in the comments, and stick around. This transfer window's only getting messier. 33 years old, contract until 2028, big wages. Sounds like the classic Barça starter pack for a player they're ready to offload. So, how much longer are they planning to hold on to Marc-Andre ter Stegen? Answer: until someone makes a decent offer. And guess what? Manchester United just entered the chat. The reason? As obvious as a penalty on Onana. Nobody trusts him anymore, not the fans, not the new manager. The brick wall from Inter, long gone. By the way you're watching this without subscribing, you're just like United's defense. Tough to break. Come on, hit that button. It's way less painful than watching Andre Onana fumble again. Back to ter Stegen. He brings stability, calm, leadership, exactly what United are missing between the sticks. And the twist? Ter Stegen's reportedly open to trying the Premier League. Not just for the adventure, but to stay relevant for Germany's national team. Because if he ends up benched at Barca, say goodbye to World Cup 2026. And Barca, they wouldn't mind freeing up his salary space. Not because he's bad, but because they need money. And room. 12 million euros market value might not sound like a fortune, but for cash-strapped Barca, that's progress. Now here's where it gets spicy. Galatasaray and Al Hilal are lurking. Deep pockets, easy lifestyle, guaranteed retirement plan. So, what's it gonna be? The challenge of the Premier League? Or a comfy throne in the Middle East? Let me know what you'd do. Test yourself at Old Trafford or cash in under the desert sun. Kevin De Bruyne to Napoli. Yeah, let that sink in for a second. Just yesterday, he was the heart and soul of Manchester City. And today, the man's packing his bags for Naples on a free transfer. Medicals coming up, Fabrizio has already dropped his legendary "here we go," it's basically done. Now picture this. The defending Serie A champions, now led by Antonio Conte, just landed a playmaker who scored 14 goals for City last season. And don't forget, De Bruyne had offers from everywhere. Saudi clubs, MLS teams, throwing cash like it's monopoly money. But Kev said no. I'm staying in Europe. I still want to compete at the top. Barca? Nope, the Catalans didn't even try. They've got other ideas, but it wasn't all smooth sailing. At one point, the whole thing nearly collapsed over image rights drama. Lawyers losing their minds, egos clashing left and right, and then De Laurentiis steps in, the king of behind-the-scenes deals, and gets it over the line. So yeah, De Bruyne is about to wear Napoli blue. Insane. Now, here's the real question. Can he still handle a full season after all those injuries? Or is this the final sprint in the legendary run of a city icon? For Napoli, this is a statement, a real shot at defending the crown, and doing it with a superstar pulling the strings. So, what do you think? Will KDB light up Serie A, or is this too little, too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments and stick around. It's only getting spicier from here. Have you ever wondered what it feels like when Bayern Munich calls your phone? Well, Nico Williams just got that call. And let me tell you, the timing couldn't be more perfect. Sané's gone, the left wing is wide open, and Bayern need a fire starter. Urgently. According to Sky Germany, Nico's already said yes to the idea of moving to the Bundesliga. He's in. Bayern are going all in. They're ready to trigger his €60 million release clause. But there's a twist. Nico wants €20 million a year. Not exactly cheap, huh? At the same time, both Arsenal and Chelsea are lurking, keeping him on their shortlist. But right now, Bayern are leading the race, especially after Sané took off to Galatasaray. Here's the kicker. Bayern's front office, Abel and Freund, have already reached out to Nico's camp and got a green light. And that's big. After completely missing out on Wirtz, who's now headed to Merseyside, Bayern can't afford another L on the transfer market. Their strategy is clear. Go young, go fast, go ambitious. And let's face it, top-class wingers are a hot commodity this summer. So the real question is, can Bayern beat the Premier League offers? Or is this just a price-raising stunt by the players' camp? Oh, and don't forget about Athletic Club. They're scrambling to get Nico to sign a new deal just to bump up the release clause. But Bayern's offer? It's looking way too good to ignore. If they agree on fee and wages, this could be one of the flashiest deals of the summer. So, what do you think? Is Bayern about to land their next superstar, or will a new challenger crash the party tomorrow? 70 million for Darwin Núñez. Nope, not a typo, not a joke. That's the price Liverpool have slapped on a striker who frustrates fans more than he excites them. Yes, that Darwin. The one whose first touch is basically a coin toss. Either it lands, or it ends up in the parking lot. But Liverpool, standing firm. No discounts, not for Atletico, not for Al Nassr. Full price or get lost. It's like they're living in an alternate reality, one where Núñez is an asset, not a headache. And Darwin, he's not pushing back. Honestly, he looks tired of it too. The criticism, the endless memes, the "how did he miss that one again?" Back in January, Al Nassr showed up with serious cash. Big offer. Tempting. But Liverpool said, nah, let's wait. Now they're using that as the starting point. Like, if the Saudis were ready to pay that then, clearly we're doing something right. And the wildest part? Liverpool are pointing to his performances, saying he creates chances. Like creating chances is the same as winning the Champions League single-handedly. What about consistency? Goals? Nope. Apparently that's optional now. The front runner? Atletico Madrid. Word is, Simeone sees Darwin as the perfect warrior for his system. And the Saudis? Still lurking. Al Nassr love a flashy signing, and Darwin's chaotic but entertaining style ticks the box. So here's the big question. Who pulls the trigger first? Budget-conscious Atletico? Or the Saudis where cash doesn't matter and hype is everything? Let me know what you think. Is Darwin worth the gamble? Or is someone about to pay €70 million for a walking highlight reel of almost? Is Federico Chiesa really BETIS' next big project? Sounds crazy, but it's starting to make sense. After that surprise success with Antony, BETIS seem hooked on the big-name, failed project formula. And hey, why not go for another misfit from a super club? Let's rewind. Antony, the guy everyone in England had basically written off, suddenly became a fan favourite in Seville. While Man United were still scratching their heads wondering why they paid £100 million, the guy was tearing up Laliga and helping BETIS sneak into Europe. Confidence, dribbling, swagger, everything he didn't show at Old Trafford. Now he's back in Manchester, and guess what? BETIS want him again. But 40 million plus his Premier League salary. Too rich for their taste. So they started looking for a budget version, and boom, enter Chiesa. Yeah, that Chiesa. The guy who was lighting up the Euros for Italy, the Juventus hero. And now, riding the bench at Liverpool. Arne Slot doesn't seem to have a plan for him, and let's be honest, he's been starting about as often as the sun shines in Merseyside. So here's the plan. BETIS want him on loan. They've already made contact with Liverpool. Look what we did with him. Maybe we can work the same magic with Chiesa. Liverpool, reportedly open to the idea. Makes sense. Chiesa gets minutes, rebuilds his value, and maybe they flip him for a decent fee later on. But let's be real. Antony and Chiesa? Not the same story. One came back from the dead. The other still hasn't proved he can do anything outside Serie A. But who knows? Maybe BETIS really is the rehab clinic for fallen stars. Or maybe it's just another loan that ends with another bench and another excuse. What do you think? Can Chiesa rediscover himself in Spain? Or is this just another transfer that sounds better on paper than on the pitch? Igor Tudor is officially staying at Juventus. The man who walked into a burning building last spring and somehow dragged this team into the Champions League is getting his reward. Was it pretty? No. Was it stressful? Absolutely. But hey, the result's on the table, and that's what matters. His contract? Automatically extended. And Juventus had a choice. Pay him off and go chasing a big name. Maybe Conte, maybe Gasperini. Or admit the guy actually did the job. Guess what? They chose the second option. New sporting director Damien Comoli even came out and said it loud and clear. Tudor is our head coach for the 2025/26 season. And just like that, it's a done deal. Contract until 2027 with an option for another year. Salary? 2.5 million euros per season. Not exactly Allegri's 7 million euros, but hey, that's less pressure too. And here's the twist. The club's actually building around his 3-4-2-1 setup. They're not wasting time either. The transfer team's working in parallel while Tudor takes the squad to the Club World Cup in the US. So, is Juve going long-term with this guy? Or is this just a placeholder move until someone shinier pops up? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Did Tudor earn this chance? Or will we be spinning the coaching roulette again by Christmas? Christopher NKUNKU and Chelsea? Yeah, it's starting to feel like a thanks but no thanks situation. The player wants out. The club's not fighting it. And guess who's sliding into the picture? Bayern Munich. The German giants have had their eye on NKUNKU for a while, and now they're ready to bring him back home. Well, almost back to the Bundesliga. Price tag, £50 million. But let's be real. Chelsea signed him for £52 million, and what did they get? A super talented forward who's been cursed. Injuries, bench time, inconsistency. Even under the new boss, Enzo Maresca, there's no guarantee NKUNKU becomes a starter. So yeah, Chelsea are open to offers, and Bayern, they're not rushing to throw money around. Their logic, long contract but barely any minutes, and the injuries are still a thing. Fair point, but don't forget, Germany still remembers the Leipzig version of NKUNKU. 70 goals in 172 games. Absolute machine. Vincent Kompany sees him as a tactical Swiss army knife, someone who can play up front or drop deep. And Bayern's interest? It started way before this Chelsea drama. As for the Blues, reports say they'll use the cash to go after a new striker and a goalkeeper. Translation, they're already replacing the guy who was supposed to be the replacement. Perfectly Chelsea. Now, this Bundesliga return could be the reboot NKUNKU desperately needs. But is this a dream move waiting to happen? Or one of those Bayern deals that fizzles out last minute? Let's see how this one plays out.